One of the events that hit us last week was the passing away of Chief Lateef Jakonde. Chief Lateef Jakonde was the first civilian governor of Lagos State, and his death really hit a lot of people. In a country where the political circle does not have such a great reputation. A lot of people would tell you that Nigerian politics is corrupt, politicians are corrupt, and a lot of things. But he was a role model in politics in Nigeria, and so his passing on was a big loss. Now, a book was written about him titled Jakonde, His Story is History by Chief Tunde Panimokun. The good news is we've got 15 copies of this book to give away. So if you want to be a lucky winner, all you need to do is answer this two-in-one question. Who was the first governor of Lagos State? If Chief Lateef Jakonde was the first civilian governor, who was the first governor of Lagos State? And who was the last military governor of Lagos State before this current dispensation, civilian dispensation, which started in 1999? So, who was the first governor of Lagos State? And then two, who was the last military governor of Lagos State pre-1999? If you get these questions right, we will do a raffle and then pick 15 out of all those who got the questions right. So, give this a shot. Up next is a reading. We've got a guest author in the house. He will introduce himself and then read. Enjoy this.
Hello, my name is James Useghan. I'm a media and communication executive with Century Group and the senatorial candidate for Ondo South in the last election, 2019. And it was through this connection I have decided to share my experience with you on this book titled The Competent Youth. I wrote this book, and honestly, it is to challenge every youth out there to be able to advocate and participate in good governance. And so for this reason, I'm going to be reading the chapter 7 of this book so that you can be inspired as well to come all out and take leadership responsibility in our country, Nigeria, and Africa at large. Life is a journey of many phases. We get born, we grow, we get involved in activities of life, actively or passively. We age and transit. Within these phases of condition and opportunities and challenges would definitely vary from one individual to another, community to community, even for nations, from one to another. Great concern it is that you and I discover the need to be actively engaged in the affairs of our domains, communities, and nation. Regarding how such places evolve in governance and relevant administration toward all-encompassing purpose of bettering the lot of the life of circumscribed therein. The arches of your birth are not sufficient to hold you back from participating prosperously in how community is managed and administered. For I was born poor, but I rose above poverty to engage the senatorial platform of governance as a candidate, canvassing and campaigning across multifarious terrains of extreme inconveniences. The discouragement of your environment, talking about the pervasive indifference of so many older figures in the land who have given up on the possibility of positive change, notwithstanding, you must, as a youth, go beyond the reproach of the living dead, the indifferent, and practically change the equation of squalor in the midst of plenty. Change the shameful grips of avarice and greed in the midst of abundance. Evidence across this nation through the change of the handlers of governance. As you bring it back to the virile and able youths, I was awash with discouragement, yet I soared into participatory governance through electioneering involvement and pressure group administration alongside my contemporaries in First Massive Literati, which we call FML. Threats of death are not invisible in the face of the grace of the living Creator, to want you to have taken aback from communal contributions and to want to have you write off yourself from putting your hands on the plows of nations, building. For twice death wrote me off, but grace restored me. How dare I waste grace? Who knows whether I was born for such a time like this? A time to have the youths take over the reins of leadership and political governance of this great nation, part of whom you as a youth needs to participate. Then go ahead and present yourself for elective office with a good and deliverable manifesto that is designed to rescue our people from the current political parasite. Let us do this together, changing our strategy from transactional politics to transformational politics with a view to changing our nation and our world for good, with evidence, well-being, and awareness of all. God bless.
Finally, in the last few weeks, we've been updating you on the Channels Book Club Prize for Literature 2020. We had to suspend it, of course, because of COVID-19, but it's back on now, and we are almost at the point where the 10 finalists will be selected by the judges, and then will be invited for a final round. After the final round, we will know the 3 winners of the competition. So if you took part in that competition, you might want to look out for updates on this show coming up very, very soon. This is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.